We're joined now by Mr. Adi Godrej, the chairman of the Godrej Group, and we're going to talk with him about the economic crisis gripping India, a crisis that could devastate our economy and turn back almost 2 decades of growth and development. Mr. Godrej, thank you very much for talking to us here on NewsX. Let me start by asking you this. You've been a strong supporter of this government and this Prime Minister. Do you still believe that they are the right people and have managed the economy in the right way, sir?
Well, I think we've made several mistakes. One was that we allowed the Environment Ministry, Defence Ministry and others to stop projects. We also, I think the government should have taken up more strongly with the Supreme Court when they stopped various projects, whether it was in iron ore or in other spheres. I think the government bringing in retrospective legislation in the Vodafone case after a Supreme Court judgment, I think, was a big error. So clearly a lot of problems have been created by either action or inaction by the government. But I think currently the biggest mistake we are making is to allow the rupee to depreciate so much, because that will lead to several macroeconomic ills. It will lead to strong inflation, it will lead to fiscal deficit, the stock markets have been negatively affected, and I think this is a big mistake, that the RBI not intervening sufficiently to protect the Indian rupee.
Okay, the RBI has opened the dollar window and is beginning to show signs that it will intervene. Do you think it should do that strongly, or will that unnecessarily bleed the country of much valuable foreign exchange?
No, not at all. We've got $285 billion of foreign exchange. Some of it must be used to protect the rupee from speculators across the world. Hedge funds all over the world are laughing to the bank because they are successfully speculating on the rupee, and the Reserve Bank isn't doing much. It comes in a small way to defend the rupee. Yesterday's action with the government oil companies was a good one. Similar action should be taken, but there should be strong intervention to see that the rupee doesn't depreciate as much as it has.
Okay, let's talk more about
that while our current account deficit is very negative, our balance of payments have been reasonably good. So the reserves have not come down. I can understand if the reserves had come down by 20-30%, that the rupee would have depreciated so much. Okay. We have the reserves and yet the rupee has depreciated.
Okay, if you remember in 1998 when the Malaysian currency was also getting hit by speculators in the Asian crisis, Malaysia went against the advice of the World Bank and the Washington Consensus and imposed capital controls. Do you think India should do the same?
Well, that depends. It depends on the details of the situation. At that time, Malaysia did impose capital controls, but Malaysia also defended the currency. And if I remember, it was George Soros who had attacked the Malaysian ringgit. And he had to retreat with his tail under his legs. So I think we should take strong action against speculators.
Okay. You know, do you have a figure, just as consumers and viewers are watching these numbers on their television screens even now as we speak, in your mind with your group and its economists, do you have a figure for the rupee? Some are saying 75, pessimists are even saying 100, and for the Sensex people are looking at it touching 15,000. What would you say to viewers that are watching? What would be a reasonable number that both these figures could settle at?
I think these are ridiculous numbers. I think these are ridiculous numbers. The government must defend the rupee. The Reserve Bank must defend the rupee. I think the appropriate rate for the rupee is somewhere between 55 and 60 to the dollar. Anything more than 60 is inappropriate, and it has been caused by speculation. Okay. And if we allow, if you were talking of 75 and 100, the inflation in India will go to 25-30%. The economy will be totally out of control.
Do you see any signs that the government is doing what you are asking it to do? Because so far the government has made a lot of commitments but shown no clear plan of action, sir.
No, the government is moving very strongly in many fields. It has taken steps, for example, to get projects going. It has taken some steps to get more FDI in, but those are slow-moving steps. It will take a little while. It has taken steps to curb gold imports. It is taking other steps to contain the current account deficit. The finance minister has announced that he will contain the current account deficit to $90 billion, which will be very good. And as you know, foreign remittances are increasing. In fact, this year it could be as high as $80-90 billion. So currently, clearly the government is taking steps. But the one step which is very important that they are not taking is to come in a big way, commit a fair amount of the foreign exchange reserves to defending the rupee and not allow it to get to these ridiculously low levels.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about what the finance minister said. We have a couple of bites here from his speech in Parliament. I'm going to ask for them to be played so that the viewers can see them and have them fresh in their mind while we talk about them.
Rupee will find its true and appropriate level. We have also to take note of the fact that our inflation is high, that our current account deficit has indeed caused concern among investors and analysts. While we have carried conviction about our capacity to contain the fiscal deficit over a period of time, we have to still communicate our policies on the current account deficit and on inflation. And once this communication takes effect and confidence grows in the economy, I'm sure the RER will reflect the true value of the rupee.
Essentially, Mr. Godrej, what we heard the finance minister say there, and what he also said later, was that he would control, as you yourself said, the current account deficit. But let's talk a little bit about that. Last year, the current account deficit was $88 billion. Now, even if nothing stays unchanged in terms of imports or exports, just the fall in the value of the rupee would put the deficit on track to be around $110 billion this year. But he's talking about reducing it down to $70 or $90 billion. How could the government do that? Clearly, markets have not believed the finance minister and hit the rupee even harder.
No, but $70 billion is committed to. That's not difficult to do. You have to encourage exports. With the depreciation of rupee, in any case, exports would naturally rise quite considerably. He has contained gold imports. Gold imports were $60 billion last year. He has definitely contained that. I think they'll come down quite considerably. He has taken some steps on other fronts. So I think containing the current account deficit to $70 billion is not only possible, but it is likely.
Okay.
And unfortunately, what is happening currently is not the natural supply demand for the rupee is taking place, it's speculation that is taking place. You must remember that whilst our current account deficit was high, our balance of payments was not bad at all. Our foreign exchange reserves have come down by only a few $1 billion.
Okay.
And why should the rupee depreciate so much?
Now the finance minister also committed to holding the fiscal deficit to 4.8%.
The Reserve Bank must supply dollars.
Yes. But the finance minister also committed to holding the fiscal deficit to 4.8%. Now how is that going to be possible, particularly with the food bill being introduced, which in reality could cost the government itself about 2 lakh crores, far more than the 1.5 that the government is claiming that it will cost?
No. Food bill this year, it will take time to implement. Half the year is almost over. I don't think the food bill will add much to the fiscal deficit. And clearly they are going to raise diesel prices very soon. So all the fiscal deficit caused by the petroleum products, maybe they change the fertilizer policy, etc. So even last year everybody said that he would not be able to contain the fiscal deficit even to the 5% level he had promised. It actually turned out to be 4.8%. So he's done a good job. I think the fiscal deficit in India will definitely be contained.
Okay.
This food bill cost will not be that high.
So when we spoke just before the passing of the budget,
subsidies on the cards.
Okay, if you remember when we spoke just before the tabling of the budget, you had said that you expected a pragmatic budget because the time for politics of economics was past, that the order of the day was pragmatism. Now, do you believe that the government is still being pragmatic rather than political by bringing the food bill at this particular time when speculators are already hitting the rupee, when the economy is already reeling? Was it economically pragmatic to table and pass the food bill, sir?
Well, I think if the food bill is correctly implemented, where there is not much wastage, what will happen is the poor, the abjectly poor, will be supplied grains at a low price. That will lead to economic benefits in that the poor will be able to divert their low incomes to other consumables. So I expect, for example, with the expenditure on the food bill, it will be positive for sectors like the FMCG area, telecom, etc. That's what leads to economic growth. That's what leads to economic vibrancy. What the government needs to do is not much of that expenditure should go into wastages as we've had in the past. So using the Aadhaar scheme, etc., that could be done. Even I have a feeling that even the NREGA scheme has helped growth in rural areas. It helped good growth in 2009, 10, 11. What we must ensure is there's no wastage.
Okay.
I even feel now that if the government successfully contains the rupee depreciation to around, as I said, 57, 60 level, then inflation could be under control. With the good agricultural season, the good monsoon, there will be strong rural demand, there will be growth in agriculture, that leads to multiplier effects in other sectors, and we could very well have a 6 to 7% growth rate in the second half of the year.
Okay, so you made two very important points. One is that you've pointed out something that's not been pointed out very often, that one of the big benefits of the food bill is that because it will give the poor food at lower prices, they will then be able to divert their limited income to buying other products. But the concern that you have voiced about the wastage in the food system, in the PDS system, when there have been no steps taken to stop wastage, to improve the implementation of the PDS system, won't that fear come true?